It was a lose-lose situation tonight for the Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers. 6 cornerbacks out for the Colts, including starters Antonio Cromartie and Vontae Davis. But at least they showed up to play just a little bit. Mike Owens is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. 33-23 preseason week 3 win over the Colts. Preseason champions once again. Undefeated, unblemished. Fuck yeah.
Oh, boy. You know, there's something about the preseason here in Philadelphia. We just seem to really dominate the last few years. And tonight, Brad's performance kind of brought us back to that Packers game last season in the preseason when he was just on the money with all his throws. Looked great, but, we kind of learned from last season that we can't get excited about Bradford in the preseason because we know what's coming in the regular season. But we're hoping that, this season's a little bit different with Bradford and that he looks more like he did tonight than he did last year during the regular season. But overall, kind of what you expected from this game tonight. Colts were missing a ton of guys on defense, pretty much missing their entire starting rotation on defense. So Eagles were expected to come out, kind of dominate the game like they did. And but really, I think the biggest takeaway from this game is the Eagles' defense dominated again. I mean, they were going up against a very quality quarterback this time in Andrew Luck. So it was good to see the defensive line and the whole defensive unit as a group continue to play like they have the entire preseason.
Yeah, multiple guys getting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, that offensive line does really fucking stink. But at the same time, Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry, Fletcher Cox, they were all contributing, getting pressures in the backfield. Fucking Marcus Smith was getting in the backfield too. I mean, Jesus Christ. But let's talk offense first, obviously. And I want to start with Dorial Green-Beckham. The talk from Titans fans, right? He's lazy. He's got no work ethic. All this and that. We just talked about this, all right? The value that they got him for fucking Dennis Kelly, okay? For a guy like Dennis Kelly, you don't have to ask for much from Dorial Green-Beckham right now. And what we're seeing is kind of what we saw tonight. You're going to limit his route tree. Fuck, man. If all he does, you throw fade patterns to him inside the red zone and he's catching touchdown passes, fuck, that's all you need from him for Dennis Kelly. But, of course, he's going to provide more. As you saw on that one catch where he broke free from a tackle. He's 6'5", 240 pounds. It's tough to bring him down. So he made a 6-yard reception into an 11-yard reception because of his physicality. So we saw a little glimpse of him tonight. And what did you think from the limited kind of snaps you saw from him?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. Really, I mean, you said it perfectly there. I mean, I don't care what the hell, DGB is doing most of the game. I mean, hell, they could have Swoop feeding him grapes on the sideline, cooking up some fried chicken for him, giving him some watermelon. I mean, giving him some hot wings, and maybe some, throwing some cheesesteaks, whatever the hell the guy wants. But when the Eagles get in the red zone, that's when they can throw him out there, do that fade route, and that's really all they need him for at this point. But yeah, I mean, why the trade was so great for the Eagles. I mean, besides only giving away Dennis Kelly, they really add such a red zone threat. And this is kind of something that has plagued the Eagles for many years now. So it's great to see that we have a receiver that can finally go up and jump and, make a catch on a fade route. I mean, and DGB didn't even need to really jump on that play. He was so tall over the cornerback. So it's nice to finally have a tall receiver that can, catch that fade route pass.
Listen, Titans fans, we haven't had a red zone threat since fucking T.O., all right? So shut the fuck up with this shit. God, I've been hearing it from everywhere from them. It's awful. But, even in the first quarter, we saw an example of where the timing is still off between DGB and Bradford. Actually, Bradford, the way he threw that ball is actually a pretty good throw. Back left corner of the end zone. Maybe could have put a little bit more air under it. DGB's got to go run a little bit more and go after that ball, I thought. But other than that, man, I mean, it is what it is right now. He doesn't know the playbook, so you're going to limit his route tree. You're not going to have him run too much stuff. I mean, all I'm thinking right now, maybe some back shoulder balls, maybe some quick slants, some crossing routes, and some fade routes, and that's it right now. And you know what? That's all you need.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you were talking about that one play where DGB didn't really run the route the right way when it was in the corner of the end zone on that Bradford throw. So that's something where DGB is going to learn because he's still learning the playbook. But I think with him, you see, I mean, he's just such a physical presence on the field. And just having a guy like that finally at the wide receiver position, it's great. So, I mean, it was it was a huge upgrade for the Eagles wide receiver, considering the depth that we have is so limited.
Yeah, and let's talk about Bradford now. He has silently had a pretty solid preseason. 17 of 20 tonight, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now, I referenced earlier about all these cornerbacks being out, all these defensive pieces being out. But the thing that I noticed from Bradford tonight, the pinpoint accuracy, the ball location was superb. And you can kind of look into that a little bit. I mean, some of these deep crossing routes that the Eagles were running, he was putting the ball on the proper shoulder. There was a throw to Huff in particular that I remember on a third down. He had that third down toss to Gibbons, which was a good throw. But again, it goes back to this. It's a fucking tease, and I fucking know it because we saw it last year.
Yeah, well, with Bradford, he's such a mental head case. And you can just see it on the field because when he gets into that rhythm, he's not getting hit. The offensive line is protecting him. He looks pretty good out there. And, maybe we have some here in Bradford, but it's when he starts getting hit and he starts to throw an interception or two, that's when things get into his head, and that's when we get bad Bradford. So, you either get the good Bradford or the bad Bradford. Seems like in the preseason we get the good Bradford, then the regular season comes around and we start to get the bad Bradford. So hopefully we don't see Bradford crying on the sideline this year. Now that probably will happen, but let's hope that he plays like he did in this game tonight, carries that over to the regular season, and then I think you might have some optimism with this team. It's been pretty negative about the outlook on this season, but we'll get into it later with the Romo injury and how that affects the rest of the division. But the NFC East is really open up right now. So if Bradford can play like he did tonight, I think it gives fans in Philadelphia some optimism for this season.
Yeah, Cowboys fans, they are sucking on Dak's cock. They're swallowing. I mean, just getting right down to business with him. But, I'll say this about Dak just real quick before we move on. All right, so you got a great offensive line in Dallas. You're seeing vanilla defenses. So I'm not really, as good as he looks, you also got to take it with a grain of salt too, okay? It's the preseason. It's funny because, like, when the Eagles look good in the preseason, Cowboys fans are like, wow, it's preseason. Dak Prescott looks great. Oh, future Hall of Famer. Shut the fuck up, Dallas fans. Like, seriously, shut the fuck up. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the Hufflepuff. The Hufflepuff. This might have been his greatest game as an Eagle.
Oh, yeah, by far. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, and he scored a touchdown. And so, yeah, it was a great game by Huffy. He wasn't blowing the ball away in this one. And he actually, ran into the end zone on this play, and he didn't do anything stupid. There was no celebration, no somersaults or anything like that. Then he also had another catch and run for a big gain there earlier in the game. So it was all positive signs from Huff, and I think you saw Huff kind of playing with the starters tonight because the Eagles coaching staff really wanted to see what he could do. This was really kind of a showcase game for Huff for trying to make the roster. And I guess the Eagles coaching staff wanted to see if he was going to continue to mess up. And if he would have had a bad game tonight, then we might be talking about, is he on the bubble to make the team? But I think, with him not messing up tonight and him showing that he still has that athletic ability, he's able to run some jet sweeps like they did on that touchdown. I think that kind of secures his spot on the team here.
Yeah, when he has the ball in his hands, he can make people miss. He's actually kind of dangerous. Now, again, to make this point again, all right, 6 cornerbacks were out for Indianapolis. But at the same time, at least Huff wasn't, dropping the ball or not creating separation. At least he had, well, he only had 2 catches. But, all right, so the way they utilize him tonight is the way he should be utilized. You let him run some crossing routes, some slant patterns, and you let him work after the catch. And they put him in a position tonight where he could do that. And you used that to his best ability. I don't know if that came out right, but you know what I'm saying. So the jet sweep call, I laughed at it because that was such a typical Andy Reid call, a gadget play on a 3rd and 1. Like, why couldn't he ever just fucking I formation, pounded right up the middle? He never did that. You got to call like a fucking shovel pass or a jet sweep or a fucking slant. It's like, what the fuck, Andy?
Yeah, I'm shocked that the Colts didn't see that one coming. As soon as I saw Huff start to come in motion into the backfield, I knew exactly where it was going. It was going to Huff. So, shocking that the Colts didn't read that one. But it was, more shocking that Huff didn't, fumble the exchange on the handoff or fumble the ball while he was running. So, Huff actually did a nice job on that play. But yeah, those jet sweeps, those are the kind of plays we're really going to see with Huff this season. I mean, really try to limit throwing the ball to him because he either can't catch or will catch it and fumble. So, like you said, it's really about putting in Huff in the best position to succeed, and I think that's kind of what this Eagles coaching staff did tonight.
Yeah, man. They let Huff work underneath, some crosses, some slants, and then you let DGB go over top, little fade patterns. So they're utilizing their personnel correctly. Chip can take some notes. Yeah, just saying. All right. Now let's talk about Mr. Nelson Aguilar. Oh, Nelly. Oh, man. I've been getting sick of this motherfucker for weeks. Okay? Today, 6 guys were out for the Colts. This is where the lose-lose situation comes into play. If you couldn't do anything tonight, get the fuck off my team. Like, I'm sick of this guy. I know they're going to keep him around because he's a first-round pick, but he does not deserve to make this football team. He fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't wait such a high draft pick on him, and you're just watching the game with the unbiased point of view, I mean, you really wouldn't have Aguilar making the team. It's just the play tonight, can't catch the ball, bounces in the air, gets tipped, and it's an interception. That stuff just can't happen, especially when Bradford made a pretty decent throw. Wasn't on the money, but it's definitely a catch that Aguilar has to make. So Aguilar, it's really just been a huge disappointment so far for his entire career here in Philadelphia. We were really hoping that this was a season that he was going to take off, but he just hasn't shown any signs of doing that yet. And it's not good. When we're, praising Josh Huff over Aguilar, it's not a good sign at all.
Nelson Aguilar, he can't create separation. He can't do it. And then when he does, and he's open, he drops the fucking ball. It's awful. It really is. And again, going back to these Titans fans, they were making fun of the Eagles because, well, Dorial Green-Beckham, he dropped the ball 6% of the time last year. Nelson Aguilar dropped the ball 9.5% of the time. He's fucking terrible. He's just, you got to cut bait. I mean, like, Paul Turner may not make this football team, and it's going to be a shame because he's better than fucking Nelson Aguilar. Aguilar has shown absolutely nothing. He had that one catch where he climbed up the ladder. That was a nice little catch. But then even on the very next play, crossing route, drop. Everything is a fucking drop.
Yeah, and we even remember, last season in the regular season, the game in Washington against the Redskins, he makes a nice one-handed deep catch, and then the next play they try to run a trick play with him, and he loses control. it's every step forward with that guy, he takes a few steps backward, and it's just becoming to the point where it's just beyond frustrating for a guy who just picked so high in the draft, and it's a shame. We were happy when the Eagles selected him, but he hasn't shown what he did at USC. He hasn't showed it at the NFL level.
Yeah, I really liked him coming out. I mean, I and a lot of people liked him coming out. And what can I say? I was wrong. I'm not always right. I was very, very wrong on Nelson Aguilar. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's very, very lucky that he actually didn't rape that girl. Because if he would have had some jail time, you know how many times he would have dropped the soap? Are you kidding me? That guy? Fuck, man. All right, let's talk about some other guys. Now, it's a little bit, for Paul Turner's chances of making this football team. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comment section, because I don't think I saw him in there with the starters in the first half. I don't think he was out there, right? So that kind of tells me how Doug kind of feels about him. I would have liked to see him out there with those starters, and I didn't see him. Ruben Randall, I don't believe, was also out there with the starters. It was Chris Givens, DGB, Aguilar, and Huff, correct?
Yeah, that's what I saw. So really, I mean, we were talking about it before the show, but really the Eagles are probably going to keep 5 wide receivers, considering that they're going to have to keep so many tight ends. So if you're looking at 5 wide receivers, I mean, right now, the guys on the bubble would be the guys like Chris Givens, and then Ruben Randall, and then Paul Turner. So we'll see what the Eagles decide to do. That's why it's going to be tough for Paul Turner to make the team, is because he's going up against veteran guys, and usually NFL teams are more likely to keep the veteran guy on the team and then have a younger guy go on the practice squad. So I think that Paul Turner will be a practice squad guy, but he definitely deserves to be on the regular roster the way that he's played here in the preseason.
Yeah. Because you're definitely probably looking at 5 wide receivers instead of 6 because of how many tight ends they're going to keep, like you were saying. So, and considering that Doug is like an old school type of coach, he's probably going to keep the veteran over Turner. So, all right, let's talk a little bit more about the defense. We kind of referenced it a little bit before, but the guy that's been very, very impressive during the preseason so far has been Brandon Graham. This guy has been a fucking monster. He added again tonight on the first sack by Barwin. He was the one that created the pressure. So like a de facto hockey assist, even though the NFL doesn't have that type of stat, but that's what it was. He caused the pressure, which forced Luck to scramble to his right, and Barwin chased him down for the sack. He had another one where he got right around Costanzo for another pressure. He was all over the place, lining up as on the right side, on the left side. And he's playing the run well too. So setting the edge, getting after the quarterback. Brandon Graham looks like a stud.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like the guy that we drafted, the guy that we thought had all this potential. And it's good, it's good for Brandon Graham because, his first few years here in Philadelphia, he battled through injuries. He was always in the wrong, defensive system. But now we finally get Swartz here. We switch back to the 4-3 system. He gets to play his natural position at the defensive end. And he's really showcasing his talents here in the preseason and showing what he can do. And, heading into the regular season, I think that we can expect, some big things for Brandon Graham, considering, the talent the Eagles have along that defensive line. There's so many other guys that teams have to worry about that Brandon Graham is going to have his chance to shine. So, good for him. I've always been a Brandon Graham fan, and I've always wanted him to succeed. So I'm glad that he decided to, stay here in Philadelphia and not leave us for the Giants like he almost did, last offseason.
Yeah. And I thought Vinny Curry made some plays tonight. But Marcus Smith was the pleasant surprise. So the one play I remember distinctively was They had Ron Brooks coming off the slot on a nickel blitz, and they ran a TE stunt with Smith, so he rushed inside, and he forced I believe a quick incompletion, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember him timing the snap perfectly and getting to the quarterback. He had another one where he got around the tackle off his left shoulder. Yeah, his left shoulder. And got to the quarterback with another pressure. Marcus Smith, man, actually had himself a pretty good game, as did Steven Means again. Means was creating havoc as well. This guy, I mean, I don't know how you can leave Steven Means off this team, but they might. But he looks like an animal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame if Steven Means doesn't make the team because he showed up so far in every single preseason game. He's always getting to the quarterback. So it's tough to get rid of a guy like that. But, Mayock was kind of talking about this during the game. The toughest, position to cut guys on this team is going to be along that defensive line because there's just so much depth along this defensive line. And that's why you kind of heard talks and rumors earlier this week how the Eagles had Taylor Hart out there on the trade wire, possibly trying to get something for him. So I think you're going to see that Eagles they're going to try to get rid of one of these guys because they just have really too many quality guys along that defensive line.
Yeah, maybe the Titans. Hey. You did something stupid with DGB. Maybe we can get him for Jarrell Casey. Just say. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Something else I forget. Oh, your boy. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Yo, his run blocking has been fantastic during the preseason so far. This one play in particular. So he starts off on a double team. Disengages from the double team, gets on the second level, blocks the cornerback. Oh my God, what a wonderful alley he paved the way for. I believe it was Barter. I don't even care who was the running back. I was just watching Ertz, and he was making mincemeat of some defensive backs on the second level.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Ertz out there making plays. I mean, we're all waiting for him to really break out here. And, hopefully this is a season. That's what we always say. We hope this is a season, but, it seems like it could be. The run blocking is something that he's always had to improve upon. And it seems like he's, really taken pride in trying to improve this offseason. And he's done a heck of a job because he's been outstanding with his run blocking throughout the whole preseason. And, tonight we saw him making a lot of catches out there, and I think that's what we can expect during the regular season. But as we talk about the whole tight ends as a group here, I think the Eagles have a really strong unit. The other guy that really shined and has kind of shined throughout training camp and preseason is Trey Burton. He's a guy to really keep your eye on. I think that Doug Peterson is going to use him a lot this season. You saw him lined up at wide receiver tonight. You're going to see him, lined up at tight end. So expect Trey Burton to, be a factor too in the red zone like we saw tonight. Got a touchdown pass. So, yeah, Trey Burton's a guy to watch out for too. And then really Selleck will mainly be a guy that's used for blocking.
Yeah, and there was a guy I forgot to talk about. Wendell Smallwood finally made his preseason debut tonight. Only played 2 plays, unfortunately. I was very, very, very excited to watch him. Been hearing all this hype during the spring, during the training camp, all this stuff. And, the first glimpse we see how they might utilize him during the regular season, they had him out wide. He runs a quick out as a wide receiver, not from the slot. He literally played wide out and runs a quick out, gained 5 yards, easy 5-yard completion there. Next play, right up the middle off the left guard, a little quick one-cut running as he's adept at doing. And then he takes a big pop, and there goes Mr. Smallwood out of the game again. And he only played 2 plays, and that's it.
Yeah, Smallwood, he used to tell the girls at West Virginia that it's not about the size of the package. It's how you move it. Well, work it. But we only saw Smallwood working it a little bit tonight before he got that concussion, and it's kind of a shame because I was looking forward to seeing extended playing time from Smallwood here. From what we saw, it was very limited, but I like what we saw tonight. The guy that we cut with Smallwood going down, the guy that we kind of really saw extended playing time was Byron Marshall. Now he's an interesting guy to talk about because the Eagles are going to have they have a lot of depth at the running back position, so you wonder if he's the guy who can make the team. Does he make the team as a wide receiver / running back, or is he a practice squad guy? But he's a guy who is also speedy guy, and he's he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah. I seem to think because it seems like he's going to be a practice squad guy. I just don't think there's any place for him on the roster right now. Just just even doing the math. But he's all right. He's made some plays. All right. So before we head out, you got any more names you want to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, we can touch on. C.J. Smith. He went to North Dakota State with Carson Wentz. And he's a guy that he saw a ton of playing time tonight. C.J. Smith, they kind of really wanted to see how he could play against the starters, and did a pretty decent job. The problem with C.J. Smith is it's going to be an uphill battle because the Eagles just have, again, they've got a lot of bodies at that position. So, especially for a rookie, I don't think that he's going to be able to make the team, but I think that he would be a solid guy that you can stash away on the practice squad.
Yeah. All right. I got one name. The most underappreciated, undervalued, overlooked player on this team, Mr. Bo Allen. I fucking love this guy.
Oh.
Yo, he had this one play where he literally pushed the guard almost into the quarterback. Just straight power, explodes off the snap. I rarely see him get moved backwards. He is a very, very solid backup defensive tackle for this team. I love him. I really do. We should love him. He's a Philadelphia type of guy. He really is. And yeah, man, he had a good game tonight, I thought. So other than that, any final thoughts?
Yeah, with Bo Allen. I mean, we've kind of been we've been fans of Bo Allen since they drafted him. We love that pick. He's the 7th round, right? 7th round pick.
Yep.
So he's done. Yeah, he's a really solid backup. And he's probably a starter on the team that is not good along the defensive line. So I love Bo Allen. I guess this is where we can kind of maybe expand on the Romo injury. It came out today. They said
that. Yeah,
Romo's he's got a broken bone in his back. So again, Romo is down, laying on the ground with the back injury. So he's out for 6 to 10 weeks. They're saying, and oh boy, the Cowboys fans now, they are, rubbing Dak Prescott's cock so hard right now. They are in love with this guy. And we'll see. I will say I've been impressed what he's done in the preseason. He's done a lot better than I thought he would do. But again, this is where you kind of have to pump the brakes. It's a preseason. He is a rookie. And he was a 4th round pick. So it's going to be a lot for him to go into the regular season as a rookie. These defenses are going to be coming after him in the regular season. They're going to be gunning for him. So we'll see what he can do in the regular season. But really, with the whole Romo situation, I think that it really kind of opens up the NFC East because I think the Cowboys were kind of the favorites because just the firepower that they had on offense was really superior to what any other team in the NFC East has. So with his injury, I think it kind of opens things up here.
Yeah, Romo's become like Bradford. Did Cowboys fans really think he was going to make it through an entire regular season? Like, that's what I kept hearing, the what ifs. Well, what if Romo plays all 16 games? No, he's not going to, motherfuckers. He's injury prone. He's, 37 years old now? His body is breaking down. I knew he was going to miss at least 4 games this year. I knew it was going to be something, either his shoulder or his back or something, and it's already happened. So, Jesus Christ. But oh man, no fear. Dak Prescott is here. Oh geez. Well, all right. I said this earlier. Look, he looks good for what it is right now. And I really did like Dak coming out. He was my top ranked quarterback out of, like, besides that trio of Paxton Lynch and Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. I really like Dak because I like his arm. I think he's pretty accurate. Now, he was in an offense that ran the ball a lot and, was one of those gimmick type offenses, Dan Mullen type of spread type of bullshit. With quarterback running the ball a lot. We remember Tim Tebow, right? Tim Tebow's offense. So, I mean, I don't know how much he really knows how. I don't know how much he really knows how to play quarterback yet. He's more of a project. I mean, I don't know how much if he's really ready for all those exotic blitzes that he's going to see on a weekly basis. And defensive coordinators are going to be drawing it up to come get him. Right now, it's all vanilla. But here's where the offensive line comes into play, because they do have the best offensive line in the league, and they're making Dak look really, really good because he's got all day to throw. I mean, Jesus Christ, I've been watching the games, all right? I haven't seen him get pressured like once. Not much. So we'll see. I'm curious to see once he gets pressured a little bit, confidence will deteriorate a little bit, and, well, then the Cowboys are going to be, before you know it, once Romo comes back, they're going to be like 3-4, 2-5. Whatever. They do have Zeke, though. So I am a little bit scared of that. You can just pound the rock with him, and behind that offensive line, he's going to be pretty explosive. If you got a fantasy football draft coming up, I would take him in the top 5. That definitely would. But Dak right now, Cowboys fans are getting a little bit too overexcited about him right now. And I can't wait until he falters just a little bit, because he's a rookie. That's what rookies do.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of ironic because we were all over this one. Because Dak Prescott, I think me and you kind of agreed that he was the guy that we should target in the later rounds if we didn't move up for Wentz.
Yeah, he was literally the guy we wanted.
Yeah, but he was the guy that we were talking about, like on the, you take him in the mid rounds where he went, like a 4th round pick, 5th round pick. Yeah, that's where you get him. So that's where the Cowboys got him in the 4th round. But yeah, he's the type of guy that the Cowboys would ideally like to have sit on the sideline for a year instead of being thrust into action right away. When you take a guy with the 1st or 2nd pick, with the Eagles getting Wentz at number 2, he's a guy that would be expected to be able to come in and play right away. So it's not the best situation for the Cowboys. They would like to bring Prescott along a little bit slower. But like you said, it helps out with the Cowboys and the offensive line that they have. And, that's why it'll kind of aid Prescott, because he's going to have some good protection. But the big thing will be when he gets that pressure and when he starts to take those hits, how does he respond?
Well, if everybody wanted to play with his cock, he better have good protection. That's for sure. I'll say this, though, okay? Because, he's probably in the best situation he could be in. Because you got Des Bryant as a wide receiver. You have Zeke as your running back. He's a fucking beast. And that offensive line, it's the best one in the league. So he is in a very, very good situation. But, again, I'm curious to see how he's going to handle that first blitz. And, schematically, he doesn't know how to play quarterback right now. He's got talent. We've seen it. We've seen the accuracy. We've seen the ball placement. We've seen how strong his arm is. But do you have it up here? And I don't know if he has it yet. We don't know. We haven't seen him take a regular season snap. Or he could be like Russell Wilson. Maybe just comes on right away and he lights up the league. But I have my doubts, at least a little bit, temporarily. I think he's a good prospect for the future. I think he can take over Romo and he'll be fine. But for this season, for those first 6 to 8 games, I would definitely be concerned as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, and I think as Eagles fans and now us having the defensive line that we do and having Jim Swartz here, we're kind of salivating, waiting for that first Eagles-Cowboys game because there's nothing more than I would like to see than see just, Fletcher Cox, Benny Logan, Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry, Connor Barwin, just, annihilating Dak Prescott. So, we'll be pumped up for that one.
And then just to derive off topic just a little bit, Jerry Jones, with Zeke going to a marijuana shop, it's not good. It's not good. But you'll hire a motherfucker that beats women. Good job, Jerry. Good job. Way to go with Mr. fucking Hardy. So I guess he'd rather have a woman beater than a dude that smokes pot. Basically what he's admitting.
Apparently, it's such a class act over there, that organization these days. Well, we'll see with Elliott. I mean, he's got, so much talent, and he's obviously the guy can produce on the field. The problem is going to be off the field. I mean, there's reports that are coming out already that the Cowboys are worried about him partying too much. When these reports kind of, carrying over from his college days at Ohio State, where him and Boza were reportedly partying way too hard, doing Molly and things like this. So, we'll see. So, Elliott, that's a pretty dumb move on his part. I mean, come on. You're going to a marijuana dispensary like hours before a game, just really stupid on his part. Obviously, he's not the brightest guy in the tool shed. But hey, that's good for Eagles fans. Hopefully he'll do something stupid and mess up. That's the thing with the Cowboys. I mean, they've got so many weapons on that offense, but with Elliott and Des Bryant, if those two start to implode and get angry with each other, that's when it goes downhill for the Cowboys.
Elliott and Des Bryant. I wonder, their combined Wonderlic score probably couldn't even beat Vince Young's.
Probably. It's
yeah.
Geez.
Yeah. All right. Now we will do final thoughts since we forgot to talk about Romo.
Yeah. I guess the final thought then, well, I guess we'll just talk about Kaepernick briefly. Not much to say here except the guy is an idiot. I mean, this is a really dumb act by him. Not standing up for the national anthem. I mean, come on, man. That's all I gotta say. Is come on, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that. Fucking idiot, dude. He's just dumb. All right. Other than that, I got nothing. Temple football though starts really soon. I think this Friday night, I believe. My Temple Owls. Yeah. Can't wait for that. But other than that, preseason champions, baby. I mean, give us the trophy. Send that shit. The Soul won a title. Now we got the preseason. Fuck, man. Back-to-back championships. We're on a roll. Can't wait. Lombardi Trophy, here we come. For Mike Owens, I'm Adrian Fedke. We are out. Later.